Hi everyone, Rebecca McPhee here, accredited practicing dietitian and health coach. We all know the importance of eating vegetables every day, but do we get enough? And the answer is no. And there are many reasons why we may not be getting enough colour in our diet. Perhaps we are really busy and we're just leaning on the whole protein carb type classic dinners. Maybe we have felt the pinch with the cost of fruit and vegetables going up, so we have reduced the amount that we eat. Or maybe we find vegetables or salad a little bit boring, or maybe we're just lacking ideas. Well, these two recipes I'm going to show you are family friendly. I have tested them on my 3-year-old, but also my husband, who's not a huge fan of a lot of vegetables. They have to be very interesting, and they both love these dishes. So the first one, look, nothing posh, it's a bolognese, but this bolognese is hidden veggie bolognese. So the name says it all. I've hidden a lot of veggies in there. So basically I'm using 400 grams of lean pork mince. We just prefer the flavour. Sometimes I use chicken or turkey mince, or sometimes you can use a lean beef mince. But we try to vary the type of proteins we have in the week. And it serves 4, so you're getting 100 grams per person of meat. But the vegetables, I grate carrot, zucchini, I shred baby spinach in there because it just wilts. They can't even tell it's in there. I use herbs, fresh herbs, onion and garlic, but I also use a can of brown lentils, which also melts in the bolognese, so they can't even tell they're eating legumes. But it increases the fibre and the plant protein, and therefore we don't need as much meat. And with that, I use canned tomatoes, 2 cans, so 800 grams. And canned tomatoes or cooked tomatoes are higher in the antioxidant lycopene compared to raw tomatoes. So make the most of those canned pantry essentials, which cost next to nothing. I also, with this bolognese, to give it flavour, I'm always using red wine in casseroles. It just tastes beautiful. But my secret weapon is smoked paprika. If you've ever used it before, I'm sure you'll say that it has this smell and flavour like chorizo. And my hubby, being Brazilian, loves a lot of different smoked preserved meats, which are delicious. But we know from the evidence that having too much of these preserved meats are not good for our health. So what I try to do with just the family meals during the week is I use that smoked paprika, and it tastes like you've got chorizo in the bolognese. Maybe every couple of weeks I will use a good chorizo. I love a good spicy sausage. I'll use that in cooking. But the other days I'll just use the smoked paprika. I use oregano as well, and it just gives it a beautiful flavour. Now this, I want to show you about portions. This is 1 serve. It's a massive bowl if you look at that. And that is 22 grams of carbohydrate, and I haven't added any traditional carbs, but the carbs in there, that's why I call it a carb smart bolognese, is you get some carbs from the veggies and also the lentils. And so that might be satisfying for you. That is 22 grams, lots of protein, 33 grams of protein, and satisfying. But you can see traditionally what we do with bolognese, we have a big plate of pasta and then we put the topping on top. The problem with this is, and it doesn't matter if it's not always about weight, it's just also about weight loss. It's also about getting enough nutrients, because this ratio is wrong. There's far too much carbohydrate on there, and it's not even 1 serve. That's a serve of bolognese, but there's only 1/3 of the topping on top. So you've got the cooked pasta, which is 2 cups cooked. It's about 80 grams of carbohydrate, and then you've got only about 12 grams of protein from the meat, because you're only having about 1/3. So you're really not getting enough. Whereas if you try to increase your veg and you're getting some carb and then bulk up that protein, you're going to feel so much more satisfied. So that's just a comparison. But if you like a bit of pasta, which we all do, you could easily just get a 1/2 cup measurement, which is there, you're carb counting more correctly rather than just guesstimating. You might get like I've got this little ready reckoner here, and you might look through and you write down all the portions that you've used before and go, oh, okay, 1/2 cup cooked pasta is 20 grams. And I'll add that onto the 22 grams of Rebecca's recipe, and then I've got 42 grams. So you can see that's a way of being clever with carb counting. A lot of my dishes, I'll make it pure protein with a little bit of carb, and then you can add traditional carbs on top. And that makes carb counting much, much easier and more accurate. Here, this is what we call a ratatouille. And ratatouille is a classic French provincial dish, and it screams summer. It's all the Mediterranean flavours and vegetables. It's a beautiful stew, and I don't just have it in summer because I use tinned tomatoes with this recipe. Again, you're getting a big whack of antioxidants, that lycopene. And the ratatouille by itself, you can see that serve, it's massive, just like the bolognese. That provides 16 grams of carbohydrate, so just from those vegetables. And then I've added a piece of protein. I've got salmon here. Sometimes we'll have chicken, and it's just delicious. And you might be happy with just that ratatouille and not anything else. But remember I said before, it's easy to just do a big bed of pasta or rice. If you did a big bed of rice, you would not get the required amount that is recommended for this recipe. And then you're not getting enough veg. But if you want some traditional carbs, remember I've said before, with carb counting, you might get your half cup cooked rice, get your Ready Reckoner and go, okay, so what's the half a cup of rice cooked is 30 grams. So you've got 16 grams here from Rebecca's recipe, plus this, simple maths, 46 grams. And look how I do the portion. If you're wanting to, we want to have carbs in our diet, but you don't want to have too much. If you're looking at cutting down and adjusting your insulin, if you just pop it on top, like that, you can see it's well presented. It's a little bit of carbohydrate, but not too much. And it's a contained amount of carbohydrate, so you can count carbs properly. And you can see here, you've just given yourself, with these two dishes, quite a lot of vegetables in your day, boosting the fibre and also giving yourself ample protein to feel satisfied until the next meal.